My name is Jasmine Bowen, co-founder of Experiential Simulations, and welcome to our simulation. This short video is to familiarize you with how to configure the game for this course. On this screen, you will see the links to Instructor documents available for your use in making our simulation work for your course. When students log into their account, they have access to a user manual, a quick start user manual, and a video containing gameplay hints. On this page that you are viewing, which is the Professor menu page, you have 3 versions of the instructor's manual, one for each version of the game. In each instructor's manual, they have a suggested description to include in the course syllabus, learning objectives, grading metrics, a list of knowledge topics to include in the course, a configuration guide including how to schedule the turns within the game so they align with the course approach, and a PowerPoint to introduce a simulation game to your class. Our next screen is the Create a New Game screen. On this page, professors can create a game for their class. The first text field requires the name of the group or student teams that will play this game. Perhaps you want to use your course code or course name as the game name. This identifies the group for your tracking purposes. Each team name is entered in the following text fields under Input Group Names. Remember, the system needs at least one team to be entered at the start of the first text field. Rather than teams, individual student names can be entered if you prefer that students play a game by themselves without team members. If you have more than 10 teams, then a new game needs to be created using the same steps we've just discussed. There are 3 approaches to scheduling the end of turns. The end of each turn within the game can be manual, and thus all teams advance together. For this option, select manual and do not enter in the calendar or turn increments data. This option will mean all teams must finish their turn and the entire group of teams can progress to the next turn. This approach links the pacing of the teams together. In many cases, professors will want to schedule the end of the turn to coincide with their course schedule, in which case select a start date like this on the start date entry field and select whatever date works for your course. Each term will then end at the start of the calendar day, for example, at 1 second after midnight. The clock is set in Eastern Standard Time. Next, select the turn increments. For example, turn ends every day. This approach links the pacing of the teams to the calendar. If you prefer that the teams can progress at their own pace independently of other teams, then enter one team per group and select manual turns. This approach means each team progress at their own pace independently of other teams. After you create a team, you will receive an email with the passcode for each team that you created. Students at this point can create their student account and pay for access to the games. Once the payment has been validated, then students can gain access to their account on the initial login, and they'll be required to enter the passcode for their game. Each passcode needs to be given to the appropriate student team. Validating a student account can take up to 24 hours, and it proceeds quicker if students use the same name on the PayPal account as they used on their game student account registration. Passcode is not the same as password. Students enter a password for login, but the passcode is to link their account to yours. Returning to the Professor menu screen, we see the View Games link. On this page, we see the list of teams that a professor has and some data about each team, such as what turn they're in. If we click on the More Info link, then we see game metrics such as customer validation score or percentage of ownership of the team. These metrics can be used for grading purposes. In addition, they can be used to emphasize your perspective on starting a company. For example, some professors prefer the investor share percentage be low or the customer validation score be high. The traction metric is the overall game score and is a composite score. At the bottom of the screen are the average scores for customer validation, the traction score, and the ability to adopt and adapt score. These are computed worldwide averages based on all players of the game and can be used to see whether your student scores are above the world average or below. At this point, I provided a brief introduction to configuring the game to your class. Thank you.